wanted to welcome you to my podcast. And yeah, I don't really meet too many women who are forthcoming, such as yourself. And obviously you're in this field where you try to help women feel better about themselves and look better and look healthy and feel better about how they look. So tell me a little bit about your background so our listeners can learn about you, and what motivated you to write this book.
Sure. I was married to a physician for 19 years, and 10 years ago, he came to me and he said, "Hey, this medical system is broken and I don't want to do this insurance-based practice anymore. Why don't we open a cash-based aesthetics clinic?" And I said, "Sure, I can make that happen." And so he continued he was actually doing urgent care at the time, his urgent care job, and I built the practice, and he came and worked within the practice until we could transition him to the practice full-time. And so started out with myself, my former husband, and one employee. And I found it fascinating within just a short time of being open. I recognized that this question that came to mind to me was, why can I see their beauty but not my own? Why can they see my beauty but not their own? And that was so intriguing to me. So that question just bubbled in the back of my head for a long time. Fast forward 17 years, here I am, no longer married, still running the practice. I own the practice now, still running the practice. And I have phenomenal employees, an incredible medical director who's passionate about women's health and hormones and all things aging. And I just thought in February of this year, I just woke up one day and said, it's time to write that book. And so I wrote the book because I feel like there's so much to say.
Yeah.
Women don't know, a lot of times when they come in here, they don't know what questions to ask. And so we're starting conversations. And a lot of times they come in with feelings of guilt and shame for wanting to do something for themselves. And it became very clear to me that we need to take right and wrong out of the conversation when it comes to beauty and personal choice. And if we can do that, then we'll have the opportunity to see each other with much more clarity, with compassion, with grace, and with acceptance.
Do you think we're part of the equation, though, where we put pressure on ourselves and others? I think there's a stereotype that it's Hollywood, that it's society, whatever that means, or it could be magazines and media, obviously. But are we part of that equation too? Where we're like, oh, we should look this way, and I can't believe that person is not looking XYZ way. Are we part of that?
We are that. And that's why the anti-aging industry is so misleading. The lies that they're telling us are you have to look a certain way, you have to buy a certain cream, you have to dress a certain way. But they're driven by us. They're not driving us. They're driven by us. And the research that I did, I found out that we are creating these narratives not because of what we're being told by the anti-aging industry, but because of what we are telling the anti-aging industry as a society. And so then you have to stop and look at who is society. Further research showed me that society is us. We are more influenced by our peers than we are by any commercial, any product, any man. They are the least influential on us for why we make the decisions we make when it comes to beauty.
Hey everyone, big shout out to Ariel Vivleka, founder of Finally All Natural. Ariel is on a mission to educate people about hidden ingredients in skincare products. Did you know the FDA allows incidental ingredients that aren't labeled or disclosed? That's why Finally All Natural is special. They focus on how ingredients are created, excluding extracts and essential oils, and have world-first formulas that work for a variety of skin types. They've also partnered with CleanHub for eco-friendly packaging and offer an exclusive organic face oil that has been scientifically proven to boost the proteins in your skin, enhancing hydration and strengthening the skin barrier. All 100% vegan. If you're into holistic skincare or non-toxic living, Ariel is your go-to expert. Keep up the amazing work, Ariel. Get in touch with her today. All the links are in description below.
The most important factor in the decisions we make is other women and our peers. So when I realized that, I was actually very excited because that gave me hope. If we are the reason that these narratives are existing, then we can change that collectively. Just step outside that box and change that. We have the ability to do that if we choose to. Then how do we do that? And that's what led me to creating the 5 principles of thoughtful aging. And going back to the beginning and leading women to start with the internal. When they come in here to the clinic where we are, they're looking for an external change. Percent of the time, that external change leads to an internal change. Because when you start appreciating how you look and loving how you look,
Alina,
it opens the door. So we all seek change, whether it's coloring our hair or painting our nails. We all seek to change our appearance in one way or another. The difference is with the aesthetics industry, we have this preconceived idea of people who do it are wrong somehow or should be judged somehow. Women face that judgment by other women and for doing and for not doing it. And then they face that internal conflict within themselves. Is this okay for me to do? Should I do this? Not wanting to be seen or viewed as a certain type of person if they come in and get a neuromodulator or restore volume to their face with a dermal filler. All of those things are a natural part of the aging process. We lose 1% of collagen per year from the age of 25 on. We're not doing anything to cause that. That's just aging. And that extends all the way across how we look to how we feel. And we can have a whole conversation about hormones. You've had some great conversations with guests on your podcast about hormones and touched on that topic. And that's so important because when your hormones aren't balanced, your skin isn't staying hydrated. You get more wrinkles, more skin laxity. We want to think that many times we're not using the right face cream or we're not getting the right procedures. But a lot of times it's just about stopping and taking a moment to care for ourselves.
And it's some of the basic principles, right? Are you sleeping? Are you getting enough sleep? How are your stress levels? And if they're obviously very high, and that's affecting your moods and your mental health. And obviously that takes havoc on your cortisol levels. And if you're perimenopausal, all sorts of craziness happens to our hormones already, but that affects women more. And it can affect their appearance, obviously their skin, a whole host of things.
I want to take a moment to give a huge shout out to Melissa Murphy-Pavone and her amazing team at Mindful Financial Partners. Melissa has over 18 years of experience as a certified financial planner and divorce financial analyst. And what truly sets her apart is how she values people over portfolios. Whether you're going through major life changes or just want to take control of your financial future, Melissa's approach is all about aligning your wealth with the life you truly want to live. She doesn't just focus on growing wealth, but also on creating balance and purpose in your financial journey. You can get in touch with her at her website, mindfulfinancialpartners.com, and you can find all the links in the description. Be sure to check it out.
And I've been very proactive about addressing HRT with my patients. But it's almost like, it's funny. It's like women, I think, because they're just so still unsure about how to approach it. And there's a shift in mindset, but they're still scared to bring it up with me. Even when I bring up that conversation with patients, right? When I start talking about it, okay, are you having any hot flashes, night sweats? How are your moods? Are you sleeping? And then we get into HRT and the benefits and the risks and, and then they still ask me, so are you going to be prescribing me that medication? As if I'm just leading them into it. But they're going to be just dangled off a cliff. And it's sad to me. And for how many decades have women been left hanging because that trial came out and it changed everything.
Women's Health Initiative.
The Women's Health Initiative. And I just feel sad. I had a patient who for years, I just saw her yesterday and she was like, we've talked about all sorts of sleep meds and this and that, and we've tried everything. What are your feelings about HRT? I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it and see how you feel. And 4 weeks later, I'm sleeping so much better and my moods are better and I'm not as anxious. And I told her, I said, part of me is so happy right now that you're feeling better, but a big part of me is feeling sad that you had to suffer.
Are you a woman with big financial dreams but no idea how to reach them? You'll love working with Dr. Annie Cole, a money coach who's on a mission to help women earn more, build wealth, and retire early. In her 20s, Annie was a burnt-out social worker, struggling on a $26,000 salary. By her 30s, she had climbed the ladder to a vice president role, invested over $350,000, owned $1 million in real estate, and cut 20 years off of her retirement date. She now runs her own coaching business, Money Essentials for Women, and inspires women to step into new levels of money mastery and confidence. Ready to see how Annie can help you? Set up a free financial consultation at www.money-essential.com/coaching. While you're exploring her services, grab a copy of her new book, 101 Ways to Build Wealth, at money-essentials.com/book.
So you talk about the same things about what I'm touching on, restoring honor to the aging process, right? My goal as a physician, as an internist, as a women's health doctor, is to keep my patients as healthy as possible. But I always tell them, just like you, I'm aging as well. And my goal for myself and my goal for you is to stay as healthy as possible during those years. So someone in your trade, right? What does that look like for your clients and for you in terms of restoring honor to the aging process?
Getting back to the values that you live your life by, the values that you carry with you through each day. In many cases, we are so busy taking care of everybody else. We are doing the best we can every day, waking up, doing the right thing. But when we stop and take a moment to really think about what matters to us, it's really hard to just bring that up and to draw that to mind. One of the questions I ask readers in the book is, if I asked you to name all of the things you loved, how long would it take you to name yourself? Because we go through so many different evolutions as women. I'm not the person I was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And we carry all of those different versions of ourselves through life. And then we finally get to a point in life where our kids are grown, or we're retired, or we have a shift in life where we have a moment to stop and breathe. And many times we don't know who we are, because we've lost touch with what values we have and what matters to us most, and then how to live those out on a day-to-day basis from a place of action rather than reaction. I spent so many years in survival mode without even realizing that I was in survival mode. Just sure, I was getting stuff done every day. I was accomplishing an extraordinarily large amount of things. But where was I in all of that? Those feelings of irrelevance start to creep in, and those feelings of less than. And that's where I think the anti-aging industry really does its best work, is when we start to feel that in our 40s, 50s, 60s, that loss of relevance. It's right there with that commercial or that Instagram ad or that message to say, oh, we just need to do this. We just need to do that. And if you have friends doing procedures and they seem happy on the surface, then of course it's going to seem like a good idea to do them. And my thing with patients or anybody that I talk to anywhere about aesthetics, please get to the point where you're doing it from a place of want and not a place of need. Because as long as you are approaching aesthetics or any type of change from a place of need, you're going to continue to need more. And wise women know when to stop. Wise women know when enough is enough, because they're doing it from a place of want and not need.
Give me an example of want versus need. I'll be honest with you. Are there things that I do to, make myself look younger? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be very forthcoming. I had not done Botox. I've not had fillers. Sometimes I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh, I might benefit from a little bit of this and that. For however many years, I'm 53. And I haven't gone into it. And I do not judge women who do it. But I feel like there's a fine line, right? Where I've been practicing for a long time, and some of my patients have been with me for years. Some look great. they look awesome. And then there's some where I'm like, okay, you've crossed the line. So give me an example of want versus need so my listeners can understand what you're differentiating between a woman who's doing it because she wants it versus needs it.
It is a blurry line. So there is that aspect of it. I'll give you that. Because if you're a 60-year-old in an office environment and suddenly you're competing with 20 and 30-year-olds and you're facing ageism at work, it's going to feel like something that you need to do for your survival. Okay? Doing things from a place of want means that you recognize that need is there, but you're making the decision to continue or pursue aesthetic treatments because you want to do that because of the way it's going to make you feel, not necessarily what you're going to get from other people, but what you're going to gain for yourself. So we oftentimes will outsource our validation. So when we get older and our face changes and our skin becomes more lax and we get wrinkles, we are no longer getting maybe the attention that we used to.
Yeah.
And so if you've gone through life outsourcing your validation, getting praise and compliments because of your look or the way that you paint your nails or the way you do your makeup or whatever your talents are, and you're outsourcing your validation, or in ways that you could be meeting that need for yourself, you're going to continue to chase procedures from a place of want or from a place of need rather than a place of want. So I have done dermal fillers, and I'm a big fan of it because I actually have Bell's palsy on the right side of my face. It was a condition that I had when I was younger. It went untreated. And for many years, the right side of my face drooped and I would smile and I had a crooked smile. When we opened this aesthetics practice, I watched patients come through. It was a year and a half before I decided to try any neuromodulators for myself because I wanted to make sure that I was doing it from a very centered space, not just chasing the next best thing. So I did it and I felt good about it and I felt comfortable with it. And then I thought, wow, dermal fillers, they could probably address this sagging in my right cheek from this Bell's palsy, right? Did I need that? No. I had lived my whole life without it. I made sure that condition wasn't affecting my self-esteem because of the language that I used with myself when I looked in the mirror. If I had a negative thought, I would choose to combat that with 2 positive thoughts. But when that opportunity arose for me to address that sagging with a product that was natural and normal to the human body, I said, I'm going to try that. And I did. And I've been doing it ever since because I prefer to see my reflection symmetrically, not asymmetric. If dermal fillers went away and disappeared overnight and they didn't exist and my face drooped again, would that crush my world? No. It's just my preference to wear them that way and to use them that way.
I appreciate you sharing your own personal story because that obviously makes a huge difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a lot of people don't know what Bell's palsy is. So I imagine that people may have asked you what happened to your face. Someone like myself may look at you, have looked at you and has figured it out right away. And it wouldn't have made a difference. And if that helped raise your self-esteem, then those are things that I totally support. And
Thank you.
yeah, are you on Instagram? And
I am.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
As Alina Wilson, or is
It's
it?
Alina M Wilson, and as in Mary, Alina M Wilson. And then,
Okay.
of course, I have Thoughtful Aging and Bridgeport Lasers on Instagram as well.
Okay.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you so much.
I appreciate your time. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You as
Okay.
well. Bye-bye.